How are you doing? Can you introduce yourself and explain us what is this exposition about?
Sure. My name is Christopher St. John. I am the resident artist and visiting professor here at Indiana University Southeast. This is an exhibition that I installed with another artist, Alyssa Davis. This work features a series of ceramic sculptures and sound elements. The ceramic sculptures act as resonating containers that, in their design, capture and amplify and resonate sound. And the idea behind this work is that these forms situate us in our contemporary present, and they sort of lie between this mass extinction event that we're currently experiencing and this active push to discover life on other planets, exoplanets. There's active work being done by the European Space Agency and NASA and independent scientists around the world analyzing data from worlds like Europa and Enceladus, which are thought to have oceans and all the ingredients for life. My idea behind this work is to situate us at the intersection through the vehicle of ceramics and sound. So ceramics as a material that's linked to human history and a necessary tool for the evolution of our species to this contemporary moment, and then really bringing in the sounds of our world. What I think is interesting about sound is that it doesn't really distinguish or differentiate. It's like the one sort of sense that we have, that it's always on and sort of propagating through the world. And I think one of the problems of our contemporary present is this notion that human beings aren't at the center of the life universe anymore, with this push for identifying life on other worlds. We are essentially decentering ourselves in the cosmos, and the data says that life is likely very common throughout the universe, and I think there's a strong connection on this life world with the idea of sound linking us to other organisms. I think as human beings, we're our gift is communication, and our gift is making connection and contact. And so what I'm trying to do in this work is to create these vessels that facilitate contact and connection with the other. And in this instance, the other can be the sound that's resonating through these ceramic forms. It can be recordings of sperm whales, frogs in Athens, Ohio, cicadas, geese here in the Midwest. All these organisms that move and help shape the rhythms that make this life world function. And I want to bring them into this space so that people can have an experience of that decenters them from their position as like the main actor in the story. And I think that's what the work does. When people walk into this space, they sort of encounter these strange forms, which are emanating with these noises, this kind of interference resonances that are happening in some of the units, with the overlays of other more natural environment sounds that I brought into this.
And what do you want people to feel or experience or inspire them? And talking about mass extinction and why we're living in this world right now, all of the conflict, all of the different natural disasters, climate, security, what do you want them to connect to or experience when they come into such an exhibition?
I think one of the things that this work challenges is sort of the frenetic pace and energy of our time. I find it's very chaotic, And so what I want people to experience in this space is a halt to that kind of frenetic energy, information, push, the pace of things. And, I want the work to help people slow down and be able to listen to themselves better, and then to tune into the environment. One of the things that this work does in a space like this is that they're hollow, and the sound actually uses the architecture of the space to help resonate the vessels within the architecture. So it's functioning with the space to connect the individual to the bigger world. I want people to feel that connection with, the robin and the goose and, all of these organisms that in the singular we may not pay that much attention to or even identify as having the same kind of personhood or place or agency that we identify with human life. But since everything functions and works to make this world function in a healthy way, I think that we need more markers, we need more kinds of modality that help people center and connect to that in a quiet way.
And can you speak about clay, and why did you choose that as a medium to create these forms? And how did you link the sound? How did you think about it?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think one of the things that really drew me to clay initially when I came into ceramics was this, when everybody around the world kind of knows what a pot is, and they can immediately connect to it, and cuts through cultures, cultures through dictatorships and democracies and all kinds of things. The pot is something that is sort of a steady beat throughout that. And I think it's one of those things that, because human beings have this sense of care to ceramic, to clay, that's been shaped into a form that has various functions, we have this sort of deep-rooted in our DNA connection to clay as connecting to empathy and to our sense of care for the world and for each other. It's one of those things in the course of human evolution that allowed us to store food, and allowed us to purify water, and allowed us to store alcohol and other beverages associated with ritual and human culture. So we have this material that's used to enrich our lives, to make people happier, to facilitate communication with each other, conversations, on a low level between families, and on a high level with courts and things like that. You still find ceramics throughout that. Where I connect with clay is its fragility, and the fact that people often evidence a lot of they're worried about it breaking. And one thing that you can do to really put people on edge or sort of tip them over is put a figure or a pot on the edge of a table, and they're like, that's going to break. We know that this material breaks if you're not careful with it. So by creating forms like this, by creating animal sculptures, you can immediately connect people to an idea of care that's in the world. It's actionable, it's present, and then there's a passage in the Quran about man or people being shaped from sounding clay. So in shaping the pot, in shaping the vessel, people discovered early on that pot is actually like it carries sound really well because of its the form itself and the round, and also the crystalline structure that the ceramic takes when it's fired. It's a natural propagator for sound waves, and it's been used since antiquity to propagate sound waves. So those two things, linking empathy and care, and this material that's deeply rooted, almost as an effigy form for human life, I think makes it a really important material for the future. future, and a really important material for grounding us and helping us to center and work through this really difficult period that we're experiencing.
How do you think children could engage in this type of exhibition or environment? Do you have any message for them or any connections that they should be making at this point?
I think that when I've seen children in spaces like this, they just want to run and play, and they're not like the bull in the china shop. They're actually see this as an invitation to move and to engage with it. So, the fact that they can touch it, they can experience what each one sounds like, depending on how thick the clay is, how thick the ceramic is, all kinds of factors. It invites movement, it invites play, it invites investigation. There's like holes in the units in which projections I've used come out and can project on the ceiling. There's all kinds of modalities, and just like creating a field, creating a space in which movement, in which play, in which engagement is facilitated without hitting anyone over the head with any sort of weird messages or whatever.
Thank you so much for showing us around.
You're welcome.
Until next time.